Manfred.
All right, we're live.
All right, looks like we are live. We'll give it a second for everybody to jump back in here, because we're doing good there for a second there. So I'm gonna let everyone kind of jump back in. Looks like we are live. Yes, we are live back on the YouTubes. Sweet. Okay, so MLB, way to grow the game. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Had a nice little crowd in here, so we'll give it a second here because I know Gabe kind of got cut off there a little bit on some of his thoughts in general. So yeah, we'll slowly let everybody kind of come back in here. Again, unfortunate timing, all that. We're sorry for you guys that just got a the link on the old stream. Okay, sorry that everyone got kind of cut off there. I know we were all enjoying the conversations there for a second, but the MLB apparently said no, too much fun, no. But yeah, I guess we can wait for everybody to kind of come back in here. All right, there we go. Brennan, jump on the pavement bandwagon with me all aboard. I like it, Corbin Barrels. I like it. But yeah, say welcome back in here. MLB did not enjoy our video, so we'll have to reel it back in a little bit. But again, you got to grow the game somehow. MLB, God damn it, Manfred. But again, like Gabe was saying, I'll let him kind of recap his thoughts there again. Just on, what were you saying, Gabe, about the the offense still having a life, so just kind of punting away and putting in man supply there, and only a 1-run game. And all that. I think that's where you're leaving off.
Yeah, it's more or less, I think, where I left off. I was talking about the way, I mean, yeah, like I don't want to sound like negative Nancy or anything like that. Like there's a lot of like issues on Twitter right now with even certain other bigger name sports media just like gloating over the fact that we won today for some reason. But yeah, just putting in man supply in a situation where he's kind of not needed. Like, do you have the 8th and 9th inning? If this was the 6th inning, I can understand putting him in. But it's the 8th and the 9th. AJ Puck hadn't pitched at all this whole season. J Mart has pitched one game. They're both very fresh and ready to go. And then he put in man supply, and we're all confused about that. We're like, why man supply? Like, this Cubs offense can be very deadly. Like, why are you putting in a guy who throws 89 when you have a guy who throws 99 from the left side? And so when he kept it in, even against Tucker, that's when I was like, this is the time you take him out. And he didn't. And so then Kyle Tucker made him pay. And then the D-backs were able to at least come back, mount together a good comeback after Torrey put in his main starters again. Instead of starting him at the beginning, he brought him in anyways for some reason. But yeah, it was just frustrating. But then, they started to get some walks, some hits, playing some small ball until they finally got the big hit from Gurriel to finally put them back up. And there's a lot of people saying, there's so much to break down with this, but yeah, even with the Ryan Nelson thing, Ryan Nelson having to bat because Torrey used everybody off of the bench. I can understand a little bit from last season just because Perdomo got hurt, so they just needed to do some double switches. But there's no reason why Ryan Nelson should have been hitting today. And there's no reason why J Mart had to be taken out of the game just so Ryan Nelson can hit. And Ryan Nelson got a hit today, which was great. And it's all fun and games, and we love it. But there's no reason why he should have been out there. But yeah, I was just trying to process the entire 8th inning. It was just crazy. But I don't see this team hitting or making 8 runs every 8th inning when they needed them to.
Yes, it was definitely it was insane. Thank goodness they left I'm trying to think of the name of that Cubs pitcher that was just getting rocked.
Eli Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan. Thankfully they Craig Counsell left Morgan in, which Brandon even mentioned before that their pitching is kind of where they lack a little bit of depth. And even on the broadcast they mentioned they only have one lefty. They already used Thielbar, so it's not like they have another lefty to go to after the fact. So D-backs haven't took advantage of that, and it was definitely very nice to see. But Brandon, kind of same question to you, obviously, with the 3-run bomb from Tucker in the top of the 8th, putting us down 4, followed immediately up with the D-backs crazy 8-inning run, which only 2 of those runs were supplied by a home run, which is really nice to see. Kind of like last year, I know it seemed like they're very home run or die. This year, it's nice to see them still, putting the ball in play into the gaps and being able to use their speed on the bases. Which, quick side tangent, Alec Thomas is only like a 63 speed in MLB The Show. Disrespectful as fuck. STS, get your shit together. But with, obviously the absolute roller coaster of an inning it was, Brandon, I'm curious for you to, kind of explain your thoughts on that, how that entire inning just, unraveled. And then save a little bit of the, I know Gabe was dipping into a little bit there, but we got another topic immediately after that we'll definitely have a little bit more of a rant session with. But I'm curious your thoughts on how, the kind of the whole inning unraveled, being down by 4, then immediately going up by 4.
I had, after that Kyle Tucker home run, I had accepted the fact, all right, we're going to lose this series. We're going to be down 1-3, and I started to think, oh, is this going to be what the season is? That we basically get to 500 and then we fall below. That's kind of where my head went. I was actually on the phone with my mom. I had the game on mute. I was still watching. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what? Like, what is going on right now? Like I was amazed. This was like, that inning was just ridiculous. Like as soon as Domo hit that 2-run double, I'm like, if we would have stopped right there, I would have been fine. I'm like, all right, it's a 2-run game. We are good to go. Like, we don't need to get it all right now. We still have the 9th. And then Lourdes hit it. I'm like, yes, we got our first Pena shot of the season. I got so excited. I'm like, finally, that man, I really thought we were going to go into that we were on the cold streak that he has where he just does nothing for like 20 games. Just does nothing. So I'm hoping that breaks him out. And Dalton's prediction of Naylor 40 doubles at Chase Field, like, it's looking really good. Like, I think he had 3 in this series. Like, those gaps are perfect for the type of player that he is. And the Cubs finally learned their lesson. Don't pitch to Gino. Like, just don't pitch to him. And then freaking Ryan Nelson. Like, we all had flashbacks to last year. Like, that, just terrible flashbacks. And Alec, like, I got so excited. Like, he is barreling up the baseball. Everything he's hitting is right on the barrel. Like, if you're playing MLB The Show, they're perfects. And they're finding grass. They're not line us right at guys. So, yeah, my anxiety in that entire 8th inning was just all over the place. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was insane because I was playing MLB The Show. I had the game day app up, and I saw that Tucker hit the home run, so I closed the game day app in my browser. Immediately went back to playing MLB The Show, and I'm sitting here, obviously texting the group chat, and I'm like, damn, like, this is gonna be a little low energy show tonight. And then the real app on my phone is like, Lourdes Gurriel 2-run shot, Dbacks tie at 6-6. I'm like, what the fuck am I missing? So I was like, all right, pull the game day back up. Because usually if they lose a game like that, I'll go back and look at the box score again, rewatch a bunch of the highlights and a little bit of a condensed game. But I'm glad that I turned it back on when I did, because I got to see the rest of that crazy ass ending, including the Ryan Nelson hit, which I believe Tori was saying that he did put him in, or he had told him to get some hacks in like the 6th or 7th inning, I believe, because he was ready for it. Which apparently I completely forgot that, especially in college, it's a normal thing where you're not just only a pitcher. Where he was a shortstop in college, and he was also a hitter as well. Which we do have that clip, so. I believe we can play that because it's not an actual game clip, so we can try our luck. We can try our luck with it. If the stream ends abruptly again, we'll start it back up for the third time. Third time's a charm, but I think we're okay. So we do have a clip from Tori talking about the situation with Ryan that we'll play right now.
Yeah, I know everybody wants to know about Nelly. He's been talking smack for 2 years now about what he's able to do. He told me that McGuff last year, around the same time, basically same situation. I knew that I was really rolling the dice there, pinch hitting and inserting people the way I did, but we were just flat. We were flatlined. I was looking for anything, and Pavin got the big hit. So it did work out. But at the end of it, I told Nelly, and 2 innings before, I called down and said, hey, I'm projecting you to hit in the 9th, most likely the 10th inning. Why don't you come on down here and take some swings? So he's been assuring me since the McGuff at-bat against the Yankees last year that he would do a better job. And I could tell by the first couple of takes that he was going to be just fine. So ran the bases, had a slide, did the old, I don't know why they're shooting baskets out there, but he partook. He got into it. And those are great moments for the team. And that's what they're all celebrating right now in that room. All smiles. Of course, he's all smiles. I think he was mostly impressed by the slide. That's the first thing he said to me. I said, "You're effing awesome, man. You've been telling me. Good job." He threw it in my face, and he goes, "How about the slide and the read, the read on the throw home?" And it's quality stuff. Look, he's a shortstop. He's an athlete in college. He's a shortstop in college. He's just a great athlete. He was a starting shortstop for the University of Oregon. That's a quality D1 program. So he's able to put the barrel on the baseball. It didn't surprise me he'd come up there and do something like that. Okay, so those are the types of plays that nobody's going to talk about, but internally we're all over that. That was a great read by Naylor, who's typically not a base stealer, but there's an art to stealing third base. It's more timing, precision, trust. So there's a lot of work that goes into that. There's studying that's happening pre-game, pre-series. Naylor trusted what he saw and got a huge jump. That to me was a big moment where it tacked on that extra run for us. So it's the style of play that we believe in. It is trusting the information you're getting and then fearlessly executing. Yeah, it's a push win, definitely. And probably, I probably have, I don't even know, maybe 7 to 10 sleepless nights a year. Last night I didn't sleep very well. I was really pissed. I was really pissed at some of the decisions I made, some of the things that I was watching on the field. And, I came to this ballpark today thinking we got to get this worm to turn somehow, and if we can split this series, it would be a good push. And then the way we did it made it even sweeter.
Yes, it was kind of funny that even Ryan Nelson, like a lot of us, still had the McGuff at bat against the Yankees last year in opening weekend on his mind, which I believe the D-backs are maybe I could be mistaken, which I usually am a lot, but I feel like the only team now that's had it happen twice where they've had to sacrifice the DH and have a pitcher hit, which, to quote one of my favorite shows, Mr. Doofenshmirtz, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, some call him, it's weird that it's happened twice. Like it's definitely not something that you would expect. But either way, it worked out all in the end, and I'm just glad that it did, honestly. And the game, obviously, like I was saying, or like Gabe was saying, the win definitely, kind of takes some of the sour taste out of everyone's mouth with, some of the decisions. But I still feel like it's something to bring up, to at least discuss, obviously, because the decisions with Torey Lovullo that he made, whether it was, to sit Gabby for rest, but then subbed him into the game in the 6th inning, which is like, hey, what is it? Does he need the rest, or is it more important to win? Brought him in to play in the 8th when J. Martin Puck were ready and available. That was definitely something that I know was a hot topic, even like Gabe was saying. And then Ryan Nelson brought in to pinch hit because the DH was sacrificed in the 6th inning because of all of the moves that they were making and all that. So what are your thoughts? I know, Gabe, you kind of dug in a little bit on it, but what are your thoughts or takes on some of Torey's decisions from start to finish in today's ball game? Because I know there were a good amount of them.
So this was a problem that I had last year, just how many guys get the days off at the same time. I think if you're going to give, let's say, Cattell a day off, just Cattell then, fine. Keep Cattell off his feet, that's fine for me. But that's not what Torey would do. Torey would give Cattell, Corbin, and then either Gino or Gabby or whoever's like the hot hand at the time, he would just give him a day off as well. And you're like, why are you resting 3 main starters? Like, there's no need for this. Like, I understand giving days off, and then especially early on in the season, maybe trying to keep some guys fresh, not rush anybody back as soon as possible. But I was really confused just seeing both of them out, and also Hampson getting the start over Cattell, which again, Cattell, okay, sure, you want to put him as DH, that's fine. But I think this is one of those either or situations. You can't have, this sort of thing, because this is what happens. If the games are close enough, you start making some double switches, and suddenly you empty out the bench before the 7th inning, and you have to have a conversation with a relief pitcher, because that's what Ryan Nelson is right now. He's a relief pitcher. You're having to have a conversation with him to tell him, hey, go take hacks in the cage because you might come in. That's crazy to me. Who does that? Especially from after last year. I'm like, did Torey not learn from last year? We had such a unique situation. We haven't had the need for a batter to hit in the last like 3 years, and it's happened again. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just. I think you're muted, Brandon.
I was just saying it's literally to the day
Yeah,
that it happened
today
live.
it's like, how does this happen again? Like, what sort of negligence is there that it happens all over again? Like, who forgets the rules or what's going on there? So, just from the get go, I was confused about this sort of lineup, but I was like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. Um, but then as the game went on, like I said, the matchup play, that's the one I think that stuck out to me the most. And like I said, I would just say it's PHNX. They just are gloating over the win today, just saying like, "Oh, why is everyone mad?" Like, no one's mad at the win. Everyone's mad or upset with the way that it happened. Tori was bailed out, and I know they say, "Oh, well, players don't bail the guys out." Why was Ryan Nelson hitting? Ryan Nelson getting a double is bailing him out because sure, maybe it didn't matter so much because they were already up. But what if there was a couple of runners on and two outs, and it would have been a tie game at that point? And with Ryan Nelson hitting with the bases loaded, like sure he got the hit, but he bailed him out. There's no reason why Ryan Nelson should be hitting there. But yeah, I was just really frustrated with these decisions, and like I said, I just think the players they won today in spite of Tory. They put up 8 runs, and I think shouldn't be lost there. They put up 8 runs, but that's not going to happen every time. You know why scoring 8 runs is such a shock is because it doesn't happen. You know who else scored 8 runs? The Brewers on the D-backs unanswered last year, and this is one of the reasons why this team missed out on the playoffs. Scoring 8 runs in one inning just doesn't happen as often as people assume. This ain't the NBA. You're not going to score that many runs. You might get lucky to score 2 or 3. Like I said, with this offense, I believe in this offense, but I do think this is a 5 runs a game type of offense, and that's more or less what they average this series. But they're not an 8 run an inning offense, especially since they don't have these heavy hitters like Jock or Walker to hit bombs everywhere. But I am frustrated with the decisions from today. I'm frustrated about the reactions as well, but I don't think it should be lost about the fact that the offense decided to show up and everyone's contributing. Alec has looked amazing. Corbin is starting to find the gaps again. Gurriel is coming out of his shell a bit more. The Gino Perdomo got a really, really good hit today, and I think we can talk about it later about the question. But I think he's going to be one of the first ones to get that torpedo bat just because he needs a little extra bit of space to actually hit the home runs because man, those warning track shots that he hits. But yeah, I was really frustrated today, but I'm not in part of the fire Tory thing. I do think if they miss the playoffs completely this year, then yeah, he has to go. But he is a manager. I just do think he has to stop making the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah, again, like you said, we're not mad about the win. It's still, I think if anything, it's like a little disingenuous. Like, hey, you know what? Like, you can still bring up, and we were even talking about in the group chat. It's like we're not raging, we're not upset. It's just still being critical of decisions that I think deserve to have criticism, thrown their way. Again, we're not asking for Tory to be fired. We're not as even again love it, but we're not keyboard pounders saying that like Tory needs to go and that like he's the worst manager ever. But it's still sometimes like these decisions that be made multiple times, or the bringing in Man Supply in a one-run game when you at least have Puck or J-Mart, like you could have gone to one of them first. Sitting Gabby for a rest when there's a day off tomorrow just to immediately be like, oh wait, no, we actually need some runs. Bring him in. Like you could have just had him start. Imagine any of those other Jose at bats. Like there's still just a few things that again we're not mad, but I think it's very valid as a fan to kind of criticize or at least like put some of these decisions in question and be like, okay, why was that made? Like just because they win the game doesn't mean that those decisions didn't have like they shouldn't be at least analyzed a little bit. Should still be at least talked about because like humans in general, sometimes you got to learn from mistakes, and if you just act like they never happened, then you're not going to learn, and that's sometimes can be a little bit frustrating. And even like you said, they did in a way bail him out. And again, not a bad thing. We're all happy they won. Obviously, we're not upset that they lost or that they won, but it's still, a good thing to bring up, and it's still a good thing to, at least try to discuss a little bit, because if you just don't discuss it, then we're going to be like a lot of the other AZ media where it's like, cool, we're just going to zip it up when we're done and wipe our chins. And to me, I don't think we're here to do that. We're not paid by anybody. We don't have media access, and maybe with our comments, we're probably never going to have media access. But we're not out here to just put every single decision made by this team and be like, no, but you see, it was actually a big brain, and it doesn't matter because they won anyway. So why the fuck you even care? It's like, well, because if these decisions aren't learned from and they happen again, and we don't have an 8-run inning, then I think it's like who could have seen this coming? Oh, maybe when it happened earlier in the season. But again, we can have this whole tangent and go on this rant. Just shorten up. We're not mad that we won. We're just at least analyzing some of the decisions. But Brandon, same question to you. With whether it's the sitting Gabby and resting him, I know you have a little bit of a different take than both me and Gabe. At least you were in the group chat, so I'm curious to hear a little bit more on that. Or you bringing him in to play in the 8th inning, or just in general having to throw Ryan Nelson up there to pinch hit in the bottom of the 8th inning. What were your thoughts and takes on some of Torey's decisions, from start to finish in today's ball game?
So when I saw the starting lineup today, I was like, yeah, Torey's doing what Torey does. That last game, and it's typically before a travel day. He typically does this. He sits a couple of guys. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with PHNX. I don't like the term the players build out their coach. They're playing for their coach. Like, if they have a shot to do something, they're going to do it. I don't see that as bailing him out from bad decisions. I'm just seeing it as they saw that this was their window of opportunity and they played very hard. I don't see it as bailing out your coach. Like, that's just me personally. It just, like, Torey, it makes you look really, really stupid when you say, oh, I want to give these guys a day off, give them rest because they have issues with soft tissue injuries, especially Gabby and Marte. And then you bring in Marte in the 6th. I'm like, Torey, you're just digging yourself a hole. Like, I was ready to say that Torey made the right decision. And then Gabby comes in and he goes 2 for 2. And I'm like, just like what Brett said, like, if he's playing the whole game, those 2 at-bats we had with Jose, like, how do we know that Corbin Carroll and Gabby don't do well against Matthew Boyd? And we're not in that spot. So we are not, like, it's okay to criticize teams and players. It's like, we're not saying they need to go. But it's like Gabe said, decisions like this, hopefully Torey learns from them and it does not cause this team to not make the playoffs, because this team is too talented. This team has too much talent to not make the playoffs. Like, this is the Mets fans, Padres fans, you can say what you want, Phillies fans. This is the second best team in the National League. This is the second best. Like, if everything goes right with hitting and pitching and bullpen, like, this team can win up to 95 games. Like, there's no reason that they shouldn't be able to. And in terms of Mantiply, I've been off the Mantiply bandwagon since like 22. Like, I've been like, this guy should not be one of our high leverage guys. He just shouldn't. And the Kyle Tucker bat is proof in itself. I didn't say they were the best. I said they were the second best. I know that's what you're laughing at. I said what I said. So I just don't think Joe Mantiply, like, I get why right now he is, because we are without Gingo. But the way Torey handled some of that's, like, it just was frustrating to watch. Like, it really was. It just was frustrating. Like, and I just found it funny, to the day that we had Scott McGuff, that apparently Ryan Nelson was giving Torey grief for, like, all year, to say that he could hit better. And he proved it. Like, he absolutely, like, he looked like Scott McGuff just looked like he was like a mannequin there up at the plate. So I just, oh boy. Torey, like, I'm not saying that I'm a Torey apologist. Some of the decisions that he makes, I get why he makes those decisions. In the sixth inning, like he saw that we weren't doing anything against Boyd, and then their bullpen came in, and we got 2 guys on, and he's like, I have to, like, we need to bring some life into this offense, and that's why he did what he did. Like, Naylor walk, Gino with a line out, then you bring in a lot of our supporters love this man, Pavin Smith. Pavin Smith came out with a big double in that moment. Like, this is what, like, I want Pavin to make me eat crow because that means he's hitting. And I'm okay with that. Like, I am completely okay with that. And then if we were playing at Yankee Stadium, Alec Thomas hits a 3-run homer. There's no doubt about, well, if you look on Baseball Savant, it's a home run out of 13 and 30 ballparks. Yankee Stadium is one of those ballparks. So, and then, we had the whole thing in the 7th with, like, mass subs. Cattell goes to second. We got to sacrifice the DH. Gabby goes back in at catcher. Like, it was something. So, and just, man to play. You cannot hang a curveball to Kyle Tucker. What are we doing? All right, rant over.
Yeah, Kyle Tucker, again, it's even as baseball or the basketball and football guys saying in our comments, I've always said that Mantiply is a great situational relief, but a bad shutdown inning guy. And I do agree, honestly. Like, again, Mantiply is still going to be like he's still a really effective lefty at times. But again, it's one of those where I think in the right situation, and I just don't think that the 8th inning in a 1-run game was necessarily the right situation. I feel like maybe if you're down like 3 and the other team is, maybe just kind of like checked out, or like if the other team's like, oh, cool, we have a shutdown closer or shutdown reliever, we don't need to worry about it. So we'll go up there, and if we get out, we get out, cool. But it didn't seem like, the Cubs were ready to do that in a 1-run inning. But again, it's just we're bringing it up because I feel like, again, it's very fair to criticize some of the decisions. We're not out here asking for him to be fired. We're not out saying that anybody that's criticizing him is, stupid. We're not saying that anybody that's defending him is stupid. Like, there's none of that going on here. It's just,
unless you send a tweet on Game 4 of the year saying fire Torrey, yes, you are stupid. They're 2-2. They're not gonna fire. If they didn't fire him, what was it, 21 or 22 when we lost like over 100 games, they're not gonna fire him now.
yeah, again,
Like
unless they miss the
said,
playoffs.
Yeah, if they miss the playoffs, they're gonna have the discussion. I personally don't think Mike will do it.
Yeah,
unless it's a major collapse. Like,
if they have a bunch of injuries and like there's other aspects outside of Torrey's control that lead to them, kind of missing the playoffs, I could see them being like, all right, dude, you're really on thin ice. But again, these are the doom and gloom. We don't need to be doom and gloom because they did again win today. They're 2-2. They are going into New York at least as a 500 team, which we'll get to that series preview in just a second here. But we want to at least touch on some of the comments here.
This right here is big to me. Like, why is it always Torrey's fault?
It is, it is a great
Some of
point.
them-
Sometimes the
some of
players have
them-
to play, but there are some times where it's like, okay, but who puts those players in those situations?
Yeah.
It's
So
an
I'm not saying he's not without fault, but you can't say everything is on Torrey.
I agree. But
especially when Joe Mantiply hangs a freaking curveball to Kyle Tucker.
that's a pitch that even in MLB The Show I hit out with Jose Herrera and get a no doubt animation for, which that we all know that does not happen. But we're gonna do a little rapid fire on some of the questions that we got from you guys throughout the first part of the show before YouTube decided to kind of hit us with the ban hammer for a quick second there. So we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fire. I'm gonna read off some of the questions that you guys got, and then I'm gonna pass to Gabe and Brandon to get their quick 30-second thoughts because we are pushing around like an hour and 30 minutes now. We just love talking Dbacks ball. But I think Gabe brought it up earlier and kind of gave his thoughts, but Jeff's asking, what do you guys think will be the first Dbacks bat with a torpedo bat? So Gabe, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be the first Dbacks player with a torpedo bat?
Like I said, it's probably Perdomo just because of his swing path. I feel like he's probably one of the guys who's probably hits him more on the logo rather than the barrel of the bat. So move it down to the logo rather to the main part of the barrel. I do think he's gonna get more power, probably get more hits. I don't see why any other player would really do it. One can surprise me. I mean, they asked Aaron Judge, and he said, like, you guys seen what I've done the last few years. I don't need that sort of help.
Yeah, it's a great, like there's certain players that definitely don't need it and certain players that I think do that could benefit a little bit from it. Which if you guys don't know what the torpedo bat situation is, if you guys are like, what the fuck is a torpedo bat? Is this a new term? Like my wife has been it's been very funny, especially opening day, like listening to the show. She was like, "What the fuck does smoking a ball mean? How do you what do you mean smoking a ball?" And I'm like, "It's just baseball terminology." So for you guys that don't know, the Yankees basically hired like an MIT tech, and they designed a bat, and it's all legal under MLB's ramifications or MLB's rules. Like other teams outside the Yankees are doing it, so it's not like it's just a Yankees thing. But they
Cubs were
basically
doing it.
the Cubs are doing it, like the Twins, Cardinals teams have been doing it. But as you see right here, it literally looks like a mortar, like the way the bat, it looks like the middle of the barrel got stung by a bee and it's swollen up a little bit, as you see from Jazz Chisholm right there. And that's something that not every Yankee's been doing, but a few of them have. Chisholm, Volpe, and again, it's all legal within the guidelines for the MLB. So that's definitely something that was not expecting to see, but seeing how many home runs that they hit, which we'll dive into for our preview, I guess it might make a little bit of sense. But Brandon, same question to you. Quick 30-second response from Jeff. Who do you think will be the first D-back with the torpedo bat? Do you think it's going to be a guy like Perdomo, or is there anybody else on your mind?
So I know he doesn't need the help, but it definitely feels like a fashion statement. So I feel like Cattell would do it too, because we know. Also, maybe Gurriel, like Perdomo, Marte, and Gurriel love to just like have a lot of extra colorful gear on there as like a fashion statement. Sometimes, like they choose bright colors, so I could see one of those three doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I honestly, the Cattell one kind of makes sense to me. I know this one we kind of touched on it really quick, but at least it's in here. It's our started question. They're asking, why was Ryan batting to begin with, though? I know we, again, did a little breakdown, but just for anybody that might be joining us now, or if you didn't hear it earlier, can you do like a quick, I guess 30-second breakdown exactly why he was batting?
Just the way the lineup worked out with all the switches that they made. It made, I believe, since they switched Cattell.
Correct.
And Ham said that took away the DH spot, so that DH spot became the pitcher. And then with J Mart, since he came in to relieve man supply, so it would have been J Mart getting ready to bat. And this team is not going to be risking throwing J Mart out there, so they had to find a quote unquote lower leverage guy.
He played in college. I mean, he only hit like 180, but Ryan Nelson did hit in college.
Definitely a little bit more hitting experience than some of the other guys they probably had. So at least it worked out in the end. One of the other ones that we had here was the basketball and football guy. We did touch a little bit on there earlier, but again, I believe you joined us after we had the discussion, so we'll at least kind of touch base on your question here and answer it for you. You're asking a question with how Alec performed well and McCarthy struggling. Do you think Alec has earned the starting center field spot for now? So again, I know we had some thoughts on it earlier, but just for him joining us now, would you be able to give a quick 30-second take on the the chances of Alec becoming the full-time center field?
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on the team what they decide, but I think overall, Alec has, he is deserving of it just because of his advanced metrics. All show he is poised to take a breakout year, and Jake has just not been putting in any sort of barrel on the ball. It's very soft contact or striking out. He hasn't looked good even in the outfield as well. So Alex should have it, but I think this team's going to give Jake more opportunities. As I mentioned it earlier, I feel like they're kind of gaslighting themselves into believing in Jake, and they're having him out there. But at least for the Yankee series, he probably is just going to miss the Rodon one, and it should be Alex for the other two.
Yes, definitely something that we could, wouldn't be surprised if we see happen. But Brandon, same thing to you. Obviously, just to kind of recap thoughts on earlier on the chance of Alec, eventually being the full-time center fielder, especially with the rate that both of them are swinging the bat currently.
I think Alex should be playing every day right now, unless all of us if we start seeing his old habit of his foot and he's like rolling over to second base, but if he's still making hard contact, that's the thing. Is another reason I like Alec over McCarthy. He has more power. Remember, 2023 NLCS. Jake doesn't do that. I'm sorry. Jake does not do that. So for me, it is Alec as the starting center fielder.
Yes, I think we're all in agreement on that one. And then our final question here before we do a quick, series preview of the 3-gamer we got coming up in the Big Apple. Corbin Barrels is asking us, which Corbin Barrels, appreciate you coming in as always, day one over here. So much love. Saying Naylor over or under 4.5 stolen bases this year, and he's already at 1. And he's had a few during spring. So technically in these first 2 months, he's already got like 3. Only one of them actually counted, but. I would say maybe a ballsy pick. I'm going over, honestly, especially if we're only 4 games into the year. He's already got 1. You never know how many more opportunities they're going to have. Maybe guys like sleep on him, but I'm definitely going to hit the over on this one. But I'm curious what you guys might, whether you go the over or the under.
Way over. I got him at 10, and I think most are going to come from double steals.
That is bold. I mean, he had 6 last year. I'm going to go the under. I just don't like. I hope that I'm wrong, but I feel like most of the time, like he'll be on, and it'll be like an RBI single, or there'll be like 2 outs. Now he's been walking a lot. Like I think he had 3 walks today, so maybe you never know. But I'm gonna go with the safe pick, and I'm gonna say the under.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, especially, hey, if he's hitting doubles and homers all the time, we don't have to worry about him stealing. So, I mean, but then again, if he's getting all these walks, like he had 3 today, which, thank you, Naylor. Very good fantasy pickup in my work league. Him and Gino have been just fucking carrying me this week. Been absolutely insane. But yeah, I could definitely see, I could see both realities. I could see him maybe not having as many steal opportunities. Maybe teams kind of like wisen up to it, and they're like, all right, we're not going to let this dude steal on us. And who knows, maybe he gets a few more sneaky stolen bases in there. Obviously, like, you said he had 6 last year, but maybe it'll be something that we keep like a little a tracker on and, bring it up. Maybe it'll be whoever's correct on this, whether it's, Brandon, you on the lower or me and Gabe on the over. We buy someone like some food at the ball game. I'd say a beverage, but again, I don't drink anymore. So I'll buy you guys a drink if I fail, but if not, maybe like a Dbacks value dog, because that's definitely a little bit more doable than some of the $20 food, which
the winner gets s'mores nachos.
You really like those s'mores nachos, didn't you?
Dude, they were so freaking good. But I had sugar crash like 20 minutes later. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, so it's definitely something that's at least worth once, and then if you really like it, you can go back for more. But I might need to let my teeth and my blood sugar.
That is a 2-person food, by the way. There is no freaking way one person can eat that.
Yeah, so like Josh saying the winner gets s'mores nachos. I thought that'd be a punishment, and even William saying churro dog for the win. The churro dog's delicious. I'd rather I'll go back for a churro dog, and all hail the churro dog indeed. But the nachos. Maybe that'll be, dude, imagine like having to eat the nachos after just eating the hot honey chicken fries. Like that is one of those where you're praying the game goes by fast, because if not, you're sitting in the bathroom in the 7th, 8th inning and you're like, I'm missing the game right now because this is not going well with my stomach. But getting back a little bit more on topic, as we have our man Dank Lemon joining the show. Dank, always appreciate you stopping by. MVP, appreciate you tuning in here. If you did miss the beginning of the show, don't you worry. We do have 2 now because MLB did not like our copyright. So make sure you, after the thing, go back and re-listen to the rest of it. But the D-backs are now 2-2. They are 500, and they're going, like I said, to New York. Start a 3-game series on Tuesday, which I believe that Tuesday game will be televised on TBS. It'll be a nice matchup there. Corbin Burns will make his D-backs debut. He's going up against Will Warren of the Yankees, both of them making their first starts of the 2025 season. So that'll be interesting. Will Warren is a right-handed pitcher, so we should hopefully see Alex starting that game. Especially I think he deserves it after what he did so far this series against righties. Then in game 2 on Wednesday, we're going to have Zach Gallen making his second start of the season. He is 0-1 with a 9 ERA. And Carlos Rodon is 1-0 with a 1.69 ERA. And then in game 3, the rubber match, or at least the final match of the series on Thursday, we're going to have the mainstay, Merrill Kelly, going up against Carlos Carrasco. Merrill Kelly is 1-0 with a 1.69 ERA. And Carrasco definitely got roughed up a little bit, but obviously because of the Yankees and their insane home run power, Carrasco has a 13.50 ERA, and he doesn't have any losses. But even like I said, even the question earlier about Gino hitting home runs, we do have a little bit of numbers comparison between the 2 teams, the torpedo team Yankees and the answer backs Chaos Backs ball. The D-backs have a 329 team batting average, where the Yankees have a 333. The home run numbers are insane here, and whether this is the Brewers are giving up meatballs, whether it's the Yankees taking advantage of the short porch, or just in general, maybe the torpedo bats are having this big of a difference. The D-backs have 5 home runs to the Yankees 15. Definitely helps when they hit 9 in one singular game. Aaron Judge had 3 of them on, I believe, yesterday and Saturday. The D-backs have 27 RBI as a team, where the Yankees have 35, which, again, we thought the D-backs offense would take a step back. They went from being number 1, they're now number 3. The Yankees most runs scored, Dodgers second most runs scored, and the D-backs are 3rd in the league with most runs scored. And then runs allowed, this is where we've seen, obviously, I know opening day probably skewed it a little bit, but the D-backs have 21 runs allowed, where the Yankees have 14. So this should be a really good matchup. Obviously, we have 3 of our best pitchers going up against the series, so this is going to be absolute must-watch baseball, especially Tuesday night for Corbin Burns' debut. I'm going to be sadly probably missing it because I'll be working a little bit later on that. So I'll have to hopefully tune in to see some good highlights. But is there any, maybe predictions from you guys or anything like you're particularly looking at? Like, are you on the same page as me? You're going to be trying to tune in as much as you can for that Tuesday matchup. Is there something in particular you're on the lookout for? Even like maybe we mentioned earlier with like some of the short porch. What do you guys kind of have your eye on going into this 3-game set in New York?
So I don't think it's going to be as many home runs from the Yankees. Like I said, I just think we have better pitching. But the actual the D-backs, I just made a count. I think they had 5 hits that would have gone for home runs at Yankee Stadium. One from Corbin, Gurriel, Alec, Pavin, and Gino. They all had a ball in the series that would have gone for a home run in Yankee Stadium. So, that 5 to 15 difference in home runs probably won't be as drastic. They're probably going to be closer to 10 to 15. But I also don't think they're going to be hitting as many home runs because the D-backs have a better overall pitching staff. I'm just excited to see where they're going to be able to match up. I mean, these are the defending champs, or not champs. We're defending champs, I guess, for the AL. But they went to the World Series last year. They're basically the same team minus Juan Soto. They're a little bit weaker because of no Gary Cole. So I'm excited to see where the D-backs can actually stack up and if they can fix these fundamental mistakes that they've had over this Cup series.
Yeah, so it'll definitely be fun to watch. It's always, the Yankee Stadium is always a tough environment, whether it's regular season or playoffs. It's always going to be rowdy, especially with the Yankees, coming off the series sweep. They're going to be extra energized and probably trying to spoil Corbin Burns' debut as a D-back, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm hoping we get the Corbin Burns from the first 4 starts of spring and not the one for his last one against the Brewers, because that'd be not very fun. By saying that, I'm working every single game, so that means I'll have the game on every screen at my bar. You're doing the world a service, Vi. We appreciate that. Got to put
the fact that she has to state that is what drives me.
It's insane. You'd be surprised with how many sports bars basically in the state still just don't give a single fuck about the D-backs, and they're like, oh, we're gonna put basketball on the TV, and it's like, okay, I would rather watch the D-backs and have their cheeks spread apart by the Yankees than watch any more minutes of Suns basketball this season. So please just put the
got destroyed tonight.
Yeah, not a pretty game. So I'd rather have the D-backs on TV than any more Suns. And I get it's basketball, so maybe put on a good matchup, like if it's the Thunder versus Celtics or something. But give us all the D-backs baseball on every single TV that you possibly can. But Brandon, same thing to you. Is there anything in particular that you're looking, kind of having your eye on in this 3-game matchup that we have against the New York Yankees?
Gallen needs to have a big bounce back. Gallen, he needs to go 6. He needs to be dominant in this start. He definitely looked less than stellar in his first start of the year. So, and I feel like Zach Gallen will, because that's just the type of competitor that he is. He was probably more mad about the outing than most of the fan base was, because he knows how important that decision for opening day was and some of the consequences of that with Corbin Burns. I'm hoping he bounces back, and I also feel like he will. And yeah, I'm very curious. It'll be very interesting if the Yankees hit only 3 home runs in this series. It's definitely going to be something okay, so it wasn't these bats, it was Brewers pitching was just that bad. I don't know if y'all watched Saturday. what the 4 straight homers to start the game.
Nestor Cortez is just such a good former teammate. He wanted the Yankees to have a good day.
Hey, at least he helped out with Goldie. Like, that's the only one that I actually cared about. Like, he made sure that Goldie got it. So I think they take games 1 and 3. I think we take 1 and 3. I think we could take 2. It's just Zach Gallen the last year has been like Jekyll and Hyde. Like, he'll have these starts where he looks top 10 pitcher, and then there's some where he looks like he's just an average middle of the road.
Yeah, so it's definitely gonna be nice to see if we can get a little bounce back from Gallen, get his get him in his mojo back. At least take 2 or 3, potentially sweep. We do have 3 really good pitchers, so if there's any time to sweep the series of New York, it would be this one. But again, that'll be a fun one that we get to discuss. I believe we should be back live probably Thursday night to discuss this series, do another little post game recap. So again, appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in here. This has been an absolute blast, especially sticking through us with some of the technical issues where the MLB doesn't want us to apparently grow the game. But we're going to still be here doing our absolute best because that's what we do. We want to talk baseball, especially Dbacks baseball with every single one of you guys. But again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe on the video. It does help push us out into the algorithm. If you haven't already joined the Discord, join the Discord. It's in the description. It's free. Follow us on Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, all that fun. See a bunch of the reels and stuff like that. Make sure you guys go over to azsnakepit.com as well to check out all the daily articles that are posted over there multiple times a day, especially now that the season's kind of back into the swing of things. We'll have some articles like more written format, kind of like recapping what we're doing here, just in a little bit more of a written kind of readable format. So if you guys want some of that, go to azsnakepit.com. But in the meantime, I've been Brett, our man Gabe to your left, our man Brandon to your right. We appreciate each and every one of you, especially our man Josh on the 1s and 2s in the background, kind of making the magic happen. Hope to see you guys on Thursday night. Hopefully we can discuss a D-back series win against the Yankees, but we'll have to see you guys then. Take it easy.
Under the lights, the game goes down. Desert heat, but we own this town. Brett and Gabe on the call with Josh in the back, bringing it.